Did you know that 1 in 2 women over 50 will break a bone because of osteoporosis? That means that half of over all women over 50 will experience this sometime in their lifetime. And that really shocked me. I found this out when I myself was diagnosed with osteoporosis. And I really wish I had known this sooner. I have since learned some surprisingly simple daily habits that can help prevent further bone loss or even increase your bone density, despite what you may have read online. One thing that could be helpful is a weighted vest, such as this one that I've been using on my morning walks. And if you're just here for the weighted vest review, no worries. You can use the chapters in the description of the video to skip right to that. For those of you that would like to learn a little bit more and hear my own personal experience, I'll also share some easy habits that I've learned from my nurse practitioner that I work with to strengthen my bones. She actually reversed her own osteoporosis by doing these things that I'm going to share with you today. So she does know what she's talking about. And then finally, I'll share a little bit about what every woman should know about her bone health. Menopause seemed fairly easy for me, so I really didn't think I needed to pay much attention to it. Well, I was wrong. What was happening inside my body, unbeknownst to me, is I was quietly losing my hormones, all because of the chronic stress that I had really come to accept as normal. And this led to a very quick reduction in my bone density. I guess I'd always thought of bone loss as something that didn't happen to you until later in life, but it can happen really fast in early menopause and quietly as well. My own first cue that I had osteoporosis was when I had a routine bone density scan, and the results really surprised me, as I had just had a scan a few years prior and everything had been perfectly fine. So the physician I was seeing, she had recommended taking several drugs, and they all had a really long list of some very nasty side effects. So I started looking other places for different, solution. I took a Dutch test, which is used to assess how your hormones are functioning. And I found out in that process that my sex hormones, had been completely depleted, and that was likely what was driving my bone loss. When our sex hormones start to drop, especially during perimenopause and after menopause, the rate of bone breakdown can outpace the rate that our bodies can rebuild the bone mass. And in women, this sharp decline that we get in estrogen, it's a really big deal, because that plays a protective role for our bones. So when estrogen levels fall, especially in those first years after menopause, the bone density drop can be pretty dramatic. And that's why it's so important to really be proactive before the symptoms show up, or before you take a fall and find this out the hard way. There's a member of my community that this happened to. She was in her mid-40s when she fell, and she fractured several bones, only to discover that she was already in the advanced stages of osteoporosis. Her bones were so fragile that she wasn't even able to walk. She spent months in bed healing, only to then slip again in the shower, and she had to start the whole process all over again. It was heartbreaking. And it was so serious that she actually had to spend months in a rehab facility, all because of bones that she didn't even know were fragile. That story was a real wake-up call for me. I wanted to really get serious about maintaining the bone mass that I had left, and hopefully even improving it. Now, most research will tell you that you can't gain bone mass back, but as I mentioned earlier, the nurse practitioner that I worked with did reverse her own osteoporosis, and she's helped many other people do the same. So before I share my thoughts with you about the weighted vest, I will tell you a few other things that I do daily for my bone health. For starters, I make it my goal to walk at least 10,000 steps a day on average. Walking really strengthens your bones by placing stress on them, which then stimulates bone formation. Another way to place that stress on your bones is by jumping. I've got a little off track lately with traveling, but my goal is to do 20 jumping jacks a day at minimum. And then I also incorporate bouncing to lift my knees to my chest and kicking my butt as a part of my warm-up routines. And then also while I'm hiking, I look for jumping opportunities, just like I did when I was a kid, hopping over streams and logs without a second thought. Somewhere along the way, many of us stopped jumping and pushing our bodies like this. But if you are in good health and you're able to do it, it can be really good for you. I also take a bone building calcium supplement daily, and I do my best to lift weights several times a week at a minimum. Now, if you're just getting started, weightlifting, even with lifting your own body weight, can really be helpful, as this is a load-bearing move for your body. A couple years ago, I had to do push-ups from my knees, but if you keep at it, your strength will come back. Lifting the heavier weights is what's needed to build the bone mass, but to get to that point, you have to do it slowly so that you don't hurt yourself. And I'm still working up to that. Another load-bearing activity is to use a weighted vest like this one that I bought about 6 months ago. I'd like to share what I like about it and what I don't. So this vest is made by a company called Sportneer, and what I like most about it is that it has these spaces where you can put these little weighted sandbags in. It has enough room for 4 2-pound weights in the front plus a 1-pound weight. So you've got 9 pounds in the front, and then more pockets, or rather in the back, and then another 4 pockets in the front, and you can put another 8 pounds in the front. So you've got a total of 17 pounds of weights that you can put in it. And then I think the vest itself was another pound, so a total of 18 pounds. Regardless, it's recommended that you only wear 5 to 10% of your body weight. So it has plenty of ability to start small and build up, which is what you should do. And the one thing that I did want to show you is the one thing I had a little trouble with was getting these bags in to start with. And what I did find with that, it does help if you like turn them upside down a little bit, so you can kind of make the bottom just a little bit smaller to be able to get it started. And then once you start working it in, then you can just like lift it up, and the weight will help it go all the way in. The other thing that's nice about this vest is it has these Velcro straps going both ways. So we've got a Velcro strap there. Here's the other one. I just usually don't take this one off. So usually I leave this one strapped. And for me, because I'm a bit petite, I have to strap it all the way. And then when I leave this one off, and then when I put the weight on, then the vest on, then I can like go through here and strap it all the way up. The other thing is then it's easy. It's real easy to get on and off. And you know, it's got this zipper. So normally I just leave the one strap off and unzip it, and it goes on quite easily. And then it's also got these little pull straps at the top that I have pulled all the way down. I wish they went a little further, but all in all, it is very customizable, and it's worked out really well for me. However, I would have to say that I do wish that it were slightly smaller for me, as these straps that they have, they tighten, but unfortunately it doesn't fit too snug on me because I'm fairly small. So this definitely won't be a problem for most people, in which case I think it'll fit quite comfortably, because it's comfortable, other than it does shift a little bit on me, so I'm usually hanging on to the straps a little bit. But if you're more petite than I am, then that's something to keep in mind. It also does get a little warm underneath it in the summer, but honestly, I'd expect that with most weighted vests anyway. All in all, I'm actually very happy with it despite the size, and because it is still quite comfortable. So I primarily wear mine on walks, but you could wear it while you're working out or just walking around the house. I've linked the exact one that I'm using down in the description in case you want to check it out. As we wrap up here today, I really want to encourage you, if you're in your 40s or 50s or even beyond, to start doing things today, if you're not already, to protect your bone health. You might ask your doctor about getting a DEXA scan if you haven't had one of those, and just get curious about your hormone levels and really pay attention to things like hot flashes and inability to sleep, because it really is your body trying to tell you that something is shifting. And I just encourage you to look for ways to go ahead now and nourish your bones naturally so that you're not caught off guard like many of us have been. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with another woman who might need to hear this as well. And if you've been using a weighted vest, just let me know. Do you like yours? I'd love to hear about your experience with weighted vests in the comments. And if you'd like more support, just creating a lifestyle that really supports your well-being, I'd love to invite you to subscribe to the channel and join me here, and to check out more of what is available to you in the description to this video. Thanks for watching, and best wishes on aging in a healthy, happy way.